Good evening, everyone. We're starting this a little late because of the weather, and two of our speakers have not arrived yet. But without further ado, good evening. I'm former Northampton Supervisor Pete Palestina and coordinator of the Township's Patriots Flag Program, as well as a member of the Veterans Advisory Committee. I will be your MC this evening, and at this time I would like to call upon Supervisors Vice Chairman Jim Cunningham for welcoming remarks. Jim?
Thank you, Peter. Good evening, everybody. And on behalf of the Township Supervisors, I'd like to welcome everyone to our tribute to the American flag and all of the ideals it represents. We put this program together so that residents can bring their old and tattered old glories to this ceremony for proper disposal. To those that helped in the organization of this event, I'd like to thank the following: my fellow supervisors, George Komolowski, Eileen Silver, Frank Rothermel, and Dr. Kimberly Rose. To our township staff, especially Lisa Russo, Fire Marshal Frank Fenton, and our Director of Public Works, Gary Crossland, our Northampton Township Volunteer Fire Department, our guest speaker, Congressman Michael Fitzpatrick, who I'm told is on the way. Also, our State Representative, Scott Petrie. The Color Guard from the Marine Corps League Patriot Detachment 1230, based in Richboro. Our great singing group, the BucksMont Squires of Song, and Hailey Brown, who will sing our National Anthem. Also, the Boy Scouts from Troop Number 5 in Churchville, led by Scoutmaster Tim Howe. And finally, thanks to the local businesses shown on the back of your pamphlet: Gasper Landscaping for the potted plants, along with Lynn Kelleher, who provided the flags. Again, thanks to all, and at this time, I'm going to turn it over to our Masters of Ceremonies, Pete Palestina.
Thank you, Mr. Cunningham. As I've done each year, I'd like to read with you the passage on the second page of the program that was written by Marine Corps Master Sergeant Percy Webb, entitled "I Am Old Glory," and which I believe sums up what our flag is all about. For more than 10 score years, I have been the banner of hope and freedom for generation after generation of Americans. Born amid the first flames of America's fight for freedom, I am the symbol of a country that has grown from a little group of 13 colonies to a united nation of 50 sovereign states. Planted firmly on the high pinnacle of American faith, my gently fluttering folds have proved an inspiration to untold millions. Men have followed me into battle with unwavering courage. They have looked upon me as a symbol of national unity. They have prayed that they and their fellow citizens might continue to enjoy the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness which have been granted to every American as the heritage of free men. So long as men love liberty more than life itself, so long as they treasure the priceless privileges bought with the blood of our forefathers, so long as the principles of truth, justice, and charity for all remain deeply rooted in human hearts, I shall continue to be the enduring banner of the United States of America. And that was originally written by Master Sergeant Percy Webb of the United States Marine Corps. With all that is going on in the world today, especially in Afghanistan, Iraq before that, and other hostile areas, we need to take some time to reflect on what this country is all about and the men and women who have fought and died for, and who are fighting and dying even today for what this flag of America represents. So let us all reflect on this as we go through tonight's ceremony. Thanking the National Anthem. Gentlemen, Color Guard.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Would everyone please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Color guard can now be dismissed. Thank you, gentlemen. Congressman, come on up here. And now, our first musical number by the BucksMont Squires, This Is My Country.
Yes.
Gentlemen.
No, I'm saying he did. I wanted to make sure you got that.
Glory, make the
Thank you, Squire. Is Angelo Marchese here by any chance? And now I'd like to introduce our guest speaker, Congressman Michael Fitzpatrick. Congressman Fitzpatrick is a lifelong resident of Bucks County, where he has been an active member of his community for decades. Mike graduated from Bishop Egan High School in Fairless Hills and earned his bachelor's degree while working his way through St. Thomas University in Miami. In 1988, he graduated from Penn State's Dickinson School of Law. In 1995, Mike was appointed as a Bucks County Commissioner, where he served for 10 years and fought to preserve over 11,000 acres of beautiful farmland, parkland, and critical natural areas. Locally, he worked successfully to bring the National Veterans Cemetery to Bucks County. His first time in Congress was 2005 to 2006, and then he returned to Congress again in 2011. We are glad, and I know he is, to be with us today because, as an Eagle Scout, Mike has remained active in scouting and is a past president of the Bucks County Council of the Boy Scouts of America. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Congressman Mike Fitzpatrick.
Thank you to the Squires of Song, but I especially want to thank Northampton Township, the elected officials and the residents of Northampton, and the Marine Corps League Patriot Detachment, the Boy Scouts of Troop 5 and Troop 240, who are going to engage us and perform a pretty solemn ceremony. But I want to thank all of you for always remembering Flag Day, and this is a town, and this is a township that always has, and I really very much appreciate that, and would invite towns and communities across the 8th District and across Pennsylvania and our country to do it like Northampton Township does, because the colors of our nation inspire us, as do the veterans, the men and women of our services who have worn the colors on their sleeve, carried it into battle, sailed with it. The sailors flew with it in the Air Force. Places around the globe, wherever our soldiers, sailors, and airmen and Marines have gone, so has our flag. And so this is a really important day. Now, there are many important days for our country, but Flag Day is a very important one, sometimes forgotten, but Northampton Township always remembers it. President Reagan was once describing, what it was in one of his speeches, what the flag, means to our country. He described, the red, stands for courage, sacrifice of the men and women of our country. The white of the flag, he said, stood for the highest ideals and the positiveness of the nation. And the blue, he said, stood for vigilance and for justice. And, that across the country is what the flag stands for. And I always thought that all of us as Americans have an obligation, special obligation, to revere the flag, to respect it as it serves us, and when it's time to retire the flag, to respect it right up to the retirement, and we'll see that ceremony here today. But I always thought that even, not just as Americans, but as Pennsylvanians and especially as Bucks Countyans, we have a special relationship to the flag, a special obligation to the flag of our nation. We celebrate Flag Day on June 14th because in 1777, that was the day, today, June 14th, in 1777, when the Continental Congress declared the Flag Act, passed the legislation as to what the colors of our country would be. That it would be 13 stripes, alternating red and white, and a field of blue, a Union field of blue, with 13 stars representing each of the new 13 states of the new nation. And the legend is that a group of 3 then were dispatched by the Continental Congress to meet with Betsy Ross and asked that the original flags of our nation be sewn. And that group of three included General Washington, the first commander-in-chief, but one of the other two was Robert Morris, the financier of the American Revolution. The town Morrisville, Bucks County, is named for him. He was the first United States Senator from Pennsylvania. And so they were dispatched to make sure that that flag was put together by somebody who would have the care and concern that they knew that it deserved. And we've heard in history that probably the first flag, Old Glory, flew with troops. I've heard in Rome, New York, is where it was dispatched to. But if you think about the history, including the history of Bucks County, we do know that, and they said that happened in the first week of August, 1777. We do know that General Washington was actually, for that week, the first week of August, 1777, was in Bucks County, in a township right next to Northampton Township, in Warwick Township, at the Mullen House, and that he was meeting with General Lafayette there, and the troops were there. And so likely as the original flags of our nation were dispatched, they probably came to Bucks County, to right on the periphery of where we are. And so if you drive down the Mullen House where Washington was with the troops, around the point of the Neshaminy Creek, you'll see a flagpole. If you're heading toward Buckingham, come down to the creek. If you look left, you'll see the Mullen House, and you'll see a wood flagpole with Old Glory still flying there to this very day. Our colors and our flag have become, of course, symbols of freedom, of charity, of equality, and of justice. For proof, there's no need to look further than the images that have shaped our nation's history. From brave World War II Marines hoisting Old Glory over Iwo Jima in the South Pacific, to the New York City firefighters raising the standard over the still smoldering ruins of the World Trade Centers on September 11, 2001. Even recently, amid the devastation and destruction of the storms in Oklahoma, Americans were swell with pride and resilience at the sight of the American flag flying above the debris as a beacon of hope, even in those dark hours. Our flag means so much to us as a nation, and to millions across the globe and across time. Because of its importance, it's only proper that we honor it with a day like today, but also with the proper disposal that we will soon witness here. Today's event provides us with that opportunity. By retiring our flag in a dignified way, we show our respect and honor to its importance. And I commend those who are here today who facilitated the event, the Marine Corps League and the Boy Scouts of America, who've taken on this very solemn, this very important, this very patriotic duty. So thank you for having me here today at this important event. And let us all remember the important imagery of our flag, not just today on Flag Day, but all year round. God bless the United States of America, and God bless the flag of our great nation.
Thank you, Mike. Representative Petrie is not here. And by the way, the program shows that the Hailey Brown is not listed in there, and I want to give her a special thank you, because last night I had to call over at her house at the last minute and ask her to come out to sing the National Anthem for us, and she graciously did so. So thank you. For some remarks, I'd like to introduce Dan Fraley, who is the Bucks County Director of Veterans Affairs. And there's two specific people here tonight that I'm sure Dan will want to acknowledge. So Dan, would you say a few words?
Hailey Brown, that was a great rendition.
Thank you.
I did appreciate that. Pete Palestina, when he mentioned Congressman Fitzpatrick this evening, before when he introduced him, he talked about the congressman of the National Cemetery, and I think Pete used the word helped to bring the National Cemetery here to Bucks County. I can tell you this, I was involved in that for about the 5-year battle. Mike Fitzpatrick did bring this to Bucks County, the National Cemetery. It would not have been here. I'm asked to mention somebody here, but before I do, I want to tell you that this flag here was given to me by a very special person, Mrs. Dembowski, and I will forever keep it in my office so I can look at this, because I know it represents the sacrifice of your family, and I do thank you. It means an awful lot. When we look at this flag, back in 1943, this flag was being held up just like this, about 4 Marines on a little bitty island that isn't even worthwhile thinking about, hard to pronounce. And somebody here this evening was on that little island back there in 1943. He didn't hold up the flag, but he was there when that battle to hold this flag up at the end of it on Mount Suabachi. It took a lot of sacrifice to hold the flag the way that you see it, and 4 young Marines, probably about 19 years old, below that flag, holding it up like this. That symbol became almost an image of our nation, of those of us that are old enough to remember it, and those of us who have been down to Washington, D.C. to see that monument. But one of the probably 19 or 20-year-old men that were there that battle, that 6-week battle that took 6,000 American lives, a little bit more than 6,000 American lives in 6 weeks. And don't forget, back then, there was no such thing as PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. You just came home back then, and you just came home, and that was it. You came home to your family and your loved ones. So, if you will stand up. Henry Price, World War II veteran, United States Marine Corps, Iwo Jima survivor. And standing beside him, the other young man to Henry's right, Freddie Caldwell. Freddie, World War II veteran, United States Navy. Freddie Caldwell. He still sacrificed his time to be a volunteer in the Guardians of the National Cemetery. And just one quick announcement. This weekend, about 58,278 American flags, small American flags, are going to be placed right down in Falls Township in the shape of the Vietnam Memorial. So there's a bunch of volunteers this weekend. They were doing it today, putting 58,278 small American flags into the ground, representing each young man that was killed, and about 137 young men. It was actually 137 young men from Bucks County that served in Vietnam and died. So that's what this flag will mean this weekend. And we have a very great weekend this weekend coming up with this American flag. That means so much to all of us. God bless America.
Thank you, Dan. I gave a special thank you to Hailey Brown, and also want to thank our singers, the BucksMont Squires of Song, led tonight by their secretary, Tom Ferguson. They do a terrific job, and if anyone is interested in hiring them for events, you can call Aaron Fox at 267-549-2417 or email them at bucksmontsquires@gmail.com. Now, to conclude the singing portion of the program, the Squires will sing God Bless America, and that will be followed by the singing of Your Grand Old Flag, after which the Scouts will begin their portion of the ceremony for the disposal of the flag. Squires?
Let us swear allegiance Patriotic, something that no one can understand. Red, white, and blue, I am for you. Honest, you're a grand old flag. You're a grand old flag. You're a high-flying flag, and forever in peace may you wave. You're the emblem of the land I love, the home of the free and the brave. Every heart beats true for the red, white, and blue, where there's never a boast or brag. But should old acquaintance be forgot, keep your eye on the grand old flag. Red, white, and blue, I am for you. Keep your eye on the grand old flag. Grand old flag.
Thank you, Squires. Appreciate the time that you spent with us this evening. Representative Patrick could not make it. He is actually sick, and I hope he's okay. Sends his apologies. At this point, that would conclude the speaking part of our portion of the ceremony. And now I'm going to call up here Scoutmaster Tim Huffs. Tim, where are you? Here you go. And now the Scouts will take over. Woohoo!
Good evening and welcome to a flag retirement ceremony. Following up on Congressman Fitzpatrick's remark, this is actually our troop's second flag retirement ceremony of the year, having done the first one last week at Mullen House. Last Sunday we were invited up there and did a flag ceremony with a flagpole that the Congressman was speaking of. Our troop this year is 90 years old, and checking our records, this is the 10th year we've actually done this ceremony, and we thank Mr. Palestina for continuing to invite us. At this point, I turn it over to the Scouts, and our Senior Patrol Leader-elect, Sean Healy, will start us off with the program.
We are here today to honor the symbol of our country and retire our flag, which has served its useful life as a symbol of freedom in our country. I am your flag. I was born on June 14, 1777. I am more than just a piece of cloth shaped into a colorful design. I am the silent sentinel of freedom for the greatest sovereign nation on earth. I am the inspiration for which the American patriots gave their lives and fortunes. I am the emblem of America. I have led your sons into battle from Valley Forge to Vietnam. I have been there through Civil War, 2 World Wars, at Gettysburg, the Gulf War, and now Iraq. All of them, I was there with George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Franklin Roosevelt, and John F. Kennedy. And I am here with you now.
I'll take it. Oh.
When comes the time when I am old and faded, do not let me fly in this pain. Rather, retire me from my duties, only to replace me with a new flag, so that I may continue to symbolize our country. With this, renew your commitment to what I stand for, and pledge your allegiance to me one final time.
We don't have a flag. Scout salute. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
2.
I feel like we're supposed to be on the left.
As you can see, this banner of freedom before you is worn, tattered, and soiled from use and age. She has flown proudly over the years and has done her job well, and now she must be replaced with a new flag to properly represent this great nation of ours.
Color guard, Charlie colors.
The flag of our nation should always be a strong, vivid symbol of our land and fly brightly in our minds. Our flag is a symbol of our people, our freedom, and our strength. So it is now that we commit this flag, which no longer can fulfill these duties, to the fire, so that we may replace it with a new flag to properly symbolize our nation. May the spirit of this flag be born again in a new flag.
Scout salute.
I am your flag. I appear in many places. I have taken many forms and have been called many names. I was authorized by Congress in 1818 in the form you see now, and have remained unchanged except to add a new star each July 4th after a new state joined the Union until I've reached my present number of 50. I am more than red, white, and blue cloth shaped into a design. I am the silent sentinel of freedom. People of every country know me on sight. Many countries love me as you do. Other countries look upon me with contempt because they don't allow the freedom of democracy that I represent. I am strong, and the people of America have made me strong. My strength comes from your willingness to help those that are in need. You strive for world peace and stand ready to fight oppression. You feed starving children. You offer a home to anyone who will pledge allegiance to you. Your sons gather beneath me to offer their lives on the battlefields to preserve the liberty I represent.
Scouts are some of my favorite people. I listen to your flag pledges at each gathering, and you learn how to raise and lower me as you grow through your ranks. I appreciate the tender care you give me. I feel your love and respect when you raise your three-fingered salute as I pass. Now I am tired, and it's time for me to rest in the sacred flames which you now tend. Only you Scouts and my veterans possess the honor needed to bring me to a proper end. To set my spirit loose, first cut the blue field away from my stripes.
Step in red stripes and 6 white stripes together represent the original 13 colonies that gained us liberty. The stars represent the 50 sovereign states of our union. The blue is for truth and justice, like the eternal blue of the star-filled heavens.
Place the blue field onto the fire.
Tear each of my 13 stripes and lay them on the fire one at a time. As you do this, think about the original colonies and the pioneers who carved a nation out of the wilderness. They risked everything to fight for the independence we enjoy today.
The red stripes remind us of the lifeblood of brave men and women who were ready to die for this, their country.
Place the red stripes onto the fire.
The white stripes remind us of the purity of purpose, thought, word, and deed.
Place the white stripes onto the fire.
Now I am just a memory, but if there is a tear in your eye or a lump in your throat, if you felt a shiver in your spine as you watched me burn, then I will be back the next time you need me. And my colors will be fresh and bright, and my edges will not be tattered anymore. When I climb to the top of that flagpole, I will wave at you and remember the love and respect you showed me here this evening. Thank you all for coming, and have a great evening.
Pete, can I turn it off?
Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not aware, these potted plants are free for the taking, compliments of Gasper Landscaping. So when you do leave, make sure you take one or two with you.
Let me tell you, we had a high school girl come up at the memorial.